They're tech-savvy, good with a shotgun, and even the Protheans found them attractive. Sure, they built a race of sentient synthetic beings who could have conquered the known galaxy if they felt like it, but on the other hand, they did build a race of sentient synthetic beings. If you don't think that's an amazing achievement, you haven't been paying attention, so let's talk about the Quarians. A dextroprotein-based race like the Turians, Quarians are humanoid beings who generally bear a striking resemblance to species like humans and Asari in terms of body and facial structure. That isn't to say that they share an uncanny similarity with either species, as there are several notable differences in appearance. For one, Quarians have 2 fingers and a thumb on each hand, as well as 3 toes per foot. Their lower legs have a backwards curved shape, which has in at least one instance earned a particular Quarian the affectionate nickname of doglegs. Aside from their physical structure, the most well-known attribute of any Quarian is their signature environmental suit. Having relatively weak immune systems to begin with, due to the nature of their homeworld Rannoch, the Quarians were forced to begin wearing suits when the Geth drove them from their homeworld. Contrary to what one would assume, the suits are actually part tech. This allows them to automatically inject antibiotics and other medicines as needed in order to quickly compensate for suit breaches or illness. The constant sterile environment of the suit served to further weaken the species' already feeble immune system, which soon made the suits essential for the Quarians to survive. As mentioned before, the Quarians are a dextroprotein species. This means they are biologically incompatible with levoprotein races like the humans and Asari. As such, a Quarian attempting to eat foods meant for humans could at best become ill or at worst die.
It's green.
I'm guaranteed to knock you on your ass. Unless you're dextro DNA like me. If you are, it'll kill you.
Even among their own species, direct contact with another Quarian will usually result in some form of sickness for anyone involved. As such, the process of linking the environments of one suit to that of another Quarian is considered the most intimate act a Quarian can perform with another, due to the guarantee of sickness afterwards. The Quarians are famous, or perhaps infamous, for their creation and subsequent unleashing of the synthetic race known as the Geth. This was not their intent, of course. Being a technologically curious species, the Quarians were attempting to create a non-sentient race of synthetics to be used as labour force on Rannoch. For a while, that's exactly what they were. The Geth were created as virtual intelligences, VI, which means they were programmed to give the illusion of being sentient while not actually being self-aware. Unfortunately, the Quarians, curious and driven as they were, continually made modifications to the Geth programming, eventually leading to the race becoming sentient. The transition to sentience was so gradual that the Quarians didn't realise what had happened until it was too late. Once the Geth began questioning their own existence, the Quarians panicked, partially due to not knowing the motivation of the Geth, and partially because of the Citadel's Council's strict laws regarding artificial intelligence. An order was given to exterminate the Geth before they could rise up a rebellion, which was seen as inevitable. Some Quarians didn't agree with this course of action and acted to protect the Geth, only to be arrested or gunned down for sympathising with the enemy. The Geth fought back in the interest of survival, and their highly advanced programming made them a powerful force. Soon, the extermination turned into a planet-spanning war. The Quarians had no choice but to withdraw from Rannoch, taking what was left of their fleet with them. Once they left, the Geth ceased their own attack and did not follow, since their survival was no longer in jeopardy. The Quarians' culture involves a much more close-knit community than most other sentient species. This is particularly out of necessity, due to them spending their entire lives aboard the Migrant Fleet. The Migrant Fleet is their home, since their weak immune systems would not allow them to adapt to the environment of a new world easily. The fleet started with ships used to evacuate Rannoch during the Geth War, and the Quarians have been adding to it with new parts and ships ever since. They are always on the move, passing through systems, gathering resources and doing whatever they must to survive. Their nomadic nature has served them well, but having no homeworld to return to introduces some issues. While the Migrant Fleet is massive, the Quarians are very strict about maintaining the population at a consistent level. Many rules have been enacted by the Admiralty Board, which is the main authority on the fleet in the interests of this and other purposes. Families are only allowed to produce one child for this reason, although this rule is only temporarily lifted if the population begins to decline. The Migrant Fleet also puts emphasis on working to earn your way. Because of this, once a young Quarian becomes of age, he or she is sent on pilgrimage. The pilgrimage has many purposes. For one, it takes the youth to go out into the galaxy and find something that may be of use to the fleet. This could be data, technology, or even a ship. Another purpose is to teach the young Quarian to appreciate life on the fleet. Once a Quarian returns and their gift of the fleet is accepted, he or she is transitioned into adulthood with a change of name and the choice of a new ship to serve on. Unlike most other species, Quarians' names serve more than just to identify the individual. They also indicate whether the Quarian is a full adult, as well as the name of the ship they served on and where they were born, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. For instance, Tali Zora Vas Nima Na Raya indicates that Tali was born on the Raya, represented by the Na part, and served on the Nima, represented by the Vas part. Before and during the pilgrimage, Quarians will use their Na name, for instance, Tali Zora Na Raya, seeing as they haven't been able to choose a ship to serve on yet. After they complete the pilgrimage and make the move to a new ship, they will generally only refer to themselves by their Vas name, for instance, Tali Zora Vas Nima, though they still have to use their full name in more formal settings. While the Quarians' culture is largely centered around practicality, they do have an artistic side. Storytelling is a widely used form of escape around the Migrant Fleet. The Quarians also have high respect for dancers, and some have been known to partake themselves from time to time. Also, during the Rannoch days, the Quarians were said to have unique styles of music. It was so much so that an unnamed Asari was on the Quarian homeworld studying their music before she was killed during the Geth uprising. The environmental suits themselves also play a bigger part in Quarian culture than simple necessity. Once a youth goes on their pilgrimage, they are allowed to begin modifying their suits as they like, adding parts or simply embellishing. Since a Quarian spends their entire lives inside the suits, aside from their first few years of life where they live in a bubble of sorts until they can first find a suit, modifying their suits can be helpful in distinguishing between individuals. Even so, thanks to the suits, Quarians have developed a habit of sharing their names whenever an interaction is initiated. As mentioned before, the Quarians are infamous for their creation of the Geth. After the Geth uprising and the Quarian subsequent exodus from Rannoch, the Citadel Council not only refused to offer aid, but closed the Quarian embassy in the Citadel. As a result, a large portion of the galaxy tends to be distrustful of the Quarians. Since the Quarians live on ships and have few resources to call their own, they have taken to scavenging for anything they can find that may be useful, one of the reasons for the pilgrimage. As a result, they have gained a reputation as lower class citizens almost everywhere they go. Many young Quarians on their pilgrimage have run into trouble from less than savoury types looking to take advantage of their desperation.
This Clanless is a thief, and I want her arrested. I felt her hand go into my pocket. When I checked, my credit chit was gone.
I didn't even touch you!
Conversely, the technical skills of the Quarians are also widely known. Few corporations would pass up the opportunity to have the help of an expert Quarian tech, though they may prefer it to be off the books. Ironically, their expertise with the Geth can prove to be invaluable to anyone in search of information or an expert in artificial intelligence. Rather surprisingly, there aren't a lot of named Quarians within the trilogy, but this video wouldn't be respected by the Quarian flotilla unless I gave some a mention. So firstly, everybody's favourite Quarian mechanist, Tali Zora. She was a brilliant character and had so much character depth. Being a squad mate in all 3 games definitely helped represent who she was, causing for her to be arguably the most popular female from the series. My other mention goes to Karla Riga, a Quarian soldier who serves in the Migrant Fleet Marines. He is first met on the planet Hystrom in Mass Effect 2, and depending on your actions, this can also be where he is last met. If Riga survives the events on Hystrom, he can also give an honourable speech at Tali's trial, helping her to clear the charge of treason. Unfortunately, Riga is not seen in Mass Effect 3, and meets his end at the hands of the Reapers after sacrificing his life to repair a communication tower on Palaven. If you are a Talimancer, then this may be repetition to you, but did you know that the widely used phrase Kila Salai roughly translates to "by the homeworld I hope to see one day"? So what do you think of the Quarians? Have you got any fun insights of your own? Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed watching this video, then it would be great if you could show your support by leaving a like on this video. And if you love Mass Effect and want to see more great content in the future, then put that subscribe button to use. And until next time, I hope to see you all in the following video. Goodbye.